A daughter's hospital visit begins with a smile. Then, within 60 seconds, she demands her father's bank PIN.
Dad, don't be difficult. Just give me the PIN so I can pay your bills.
I don't want you touching my account. I am still awake, you know.
If you can't trust me, maybe I should stop visiting. You are too weak to handle money alone.
The threat landed cold. Edward's hand tightened on the bedrail, and across the room, Nurse Amy stopped checking supplies and listened.
Mr. Edward, I need to check your vitals. Michelle, would you give us a moment?
Fine, I'll be back. Think about what I said, Dad.
Michelle strode out, her heels sharp. The room fell still. Amy turned to Edward with quiet urgency.
Edward, do you want help? I can make sure she doesn't pressure you like that again.
Please, I don't know what to do. She's been hounding me since I fell.
I'll start recording the next time she comes. You won't have to face her alone.
Nurse Amy angled her smartphone on the bedside table, the recording app already open. She stepped back and waited.
Dad, I am not leaving until you give me those numbers. You owe me that much. You think this hospital will protect you? I'll find a way around it. I always do.
Every cold syllable pressed into the microphone. Amy's hand stayed steady, her eyes never leaving the recording screen. Michelle finally stormed out, shoving the visitor chair sideways. The silence that followed felt charged, dangerous. Amy brought the phone to Edward's bedside and pressed play. His daughter's voice poured out, hard and unmistakable.
You actually got it. That's her voice. That's exactly what she said to me.
I can call the hospital social worker now. You have proof. Do you want me to do that?
She stepped into the corridor and called Diane. Financial abuse, she said, an elderly father being pressured for his bank PIN. Diane arrived within the hour, clipboard in hand, her presence both calm and unignorable.
Edward, I am Diane, the social worker. I understand you are being pressured for your bank PIN. Can you tell me what's happening?
She's my daughter, but she only comes for my PIN. I feel like an account, not a father.
Diane asked Amy to play the recording. Michelle's voice filled the hospital room, cold and transactional.
This is financial abuse. She's exploiting your weakened state. If she gets access, she could drain everything.
I am afraid of her, and I am ashamed that my own child would corner me like this.
You need legal protection, Edward. A lawyer can freeze your accounts and keep her away. I know someone good.
A lawyer? That feels final. But I suppose she's already drawn the line.
She made her choice when she threatened you. Let me call James Caldwell. He's handled elder abuse cases before.
Call him. I can't keep living under her thumb like this. I need to do something.
Before Diane could make the call, the door swung open again. Michelle returned with a stranger in tow.
Dad, this is Graham, a financial planner. He'll help you organize your accounts so I can manage them.
The man produced a power of attorney document and placed it on Edward's bed with a pen.
Wait. What are you asking him to sign? I haven't seen any authorization from his lawyer.
He doesn't need a lawyer. I am his daughter. I am just taking care of him. Don't interfere.
I am not signing anything without my lawyer looking at it. You are not going to control me.
You are being paranoid, Dad. This is just to help with bills. You'll end up penniless if you keep this up.
Michelle's face hardened. She snatched the document back and thrust it at her silent companion.
Fine. If you won't cooperate, I'll settle this the hard way. I'll get my own lawyer.
That was a fake planner. I am sure of it, but you did the right thing.
Diane made the call. Lawyer James Caldwell arrived at Edward's bedside within 2 hours, briefcase in hand.
Edward, I am James. I understand your daughter is pressuring you for access to your accounts. Tell me everything.
She wants my PIN, power of attorney. She brought a man with a paper. I am scared she'll take everything.
Nurse Amy, I understand you have a recording. May I hear it?
Amy played the recording from her phone. Michelle's voice cut through the room, sharp and threatening.
This is clear financial coercion. Under the law, attempting to take advantage of a vulnerable adult is serious. We need to review your bank statements immediately. She may have already taken money without your knowledge. I'll need you to sign an authorization so I can pull the records. It's the first step to protecting you.
All right, do it. Get the bank records. I can't let her bleed me dry.
Edward's hand trembled as he signed the authorization. James gathered the form, his expression grim but determined. James returned the next morning. Bank statements spread across Edward's bedside table, like evidence of a crime.
Edward, I am afraid your daughter has been making unauthorized withdrawals. Several $1,000s just in the past month. Look here. ATM withdrawals, online transfers, even a cash advance on your credit line. All since your fall.
That can't be. She's my daughter. She would never. But these sums...
He stared at the highlighted figures, each line a betrayal. His breath grew shallow.
Edward, breathe. We're here. This isn't your fault, and we're going to fix it.
This changes the case from emotional abuse to plain theft. I'll file an emergency petition to freeze all accounts immediately. This paper trail is damning. Cash withdrawals at ATMs miles from here, all while you were in this hospital bed.
Do whatever it takes. I never thought my own child would treat me like an open wallet.
James nodded, already drafting the petition in his mind. The elder abuse case had just become a criminal matter. Before the petition could be filed, the door opened softly, and Michelle slipped back in alone, her face already streaked with tears.
Dad, I am so sorry. I was desperate. I have debts you don't know about. Please, let me explain.
You stole from me, Michelle. Thousands of dollars. While I lay here, unable to walk, you were draining my account.
It was just a short-term fix. I plan to put it all back. Please, don't involve lawyers. They'll tear us apart.
You brought a fake financial advisor, demanded my PIN, and now I see the withdrawals. That's not borrowing, Michelle. That's predation.
You are my father. You are supposed to help me when I am in trouble. Don't you care what happens to me?
Amy shifted closer, but Edward raised a trembling hand. He wasn't reaching for protection. He was stopping her.
I care that you destroyed my trust. I am done being used. My lawyer will handle everything from now on.
Fine. If that's how you want it, you'll regret this. You are not the father I remember anymore.
She spun and walked out, her footsteps sharp and final. The silence she left behind felt like armor hardening around Edward. James returned that afternoon, the emergency petition drafted and printed, each page a shield against further theft.
This petition will freeze all your accounts and request a temporary guardian. It stops Michelle from touching a single dollar. Once the judge signs it, she'll be legally barred from your finances. No more PINs, no more withdrawals. You'll be safe.
Let me sign. I've been weak long enough. That woman is not my daughter. Not anymore.
Edward took the pen, his hand steadier than before. He signed without hesitation, each stroke a quiet act of taking back control.
I'll file this at the courthouse now. A process server will deliver a copy to Michelle within hours. There's no turning back.
You are not turning back. You are turning forward. And we're all with you.
James left, briefcase in hand, and the petition was stamped at the clerk's window before sunset. Edward's assets were frozen.
A stranger will hand her the papers. At least she'll know I am not just an account to be drained.
The hearing was set for the following week. For the first time in days, Edward let his shoulders drop and closed his eyes. The calm shattered the next morning. Michelle strode into the room flanked by a sleek lawyer, her expression victorious.
Dad, this is my attorney. We're here to protect you from yourself. You are not competent to manage your own affairs. We have a doctor's note that says you suffer from early dementia. You need me to take over before you ruin yourself.
That's not true. Edward has been lucid every day. He's never shown signs of dementia. This is fabricated.
I am not confused. I know exactly what you are doing, Michelle. You won't get guardianship by lying.
This is a medical opinion, Dad. The court will see that you are not able to handle money. I am just doing what's best.
Michelle's lawyer placed a thick envelope on the bedside table. A motion to declare Edward incompetent. The room felt suddenly smaller.
They're trying to bury me alive while I am still breathing. I have to call James.
I've already texted James. He's on his way. Don't let them scare you, Edward. This note won't hold up.
The counterattack had landed. Edward stared at the envelope, the fight suddenly far more dangerous than he'd ever imagined. James arrived within the hour, took the doctor's note, and stepped into the corridor to make a call. His voice was low but urgent. Amy and Diane huddled near the nurse's station, already pulling hospital records to verify the signature on the note.
The doctor named on this letter has no patient named Edward. His office confirms he hasn't treated anyone from this hospital in years. This document is a forgery. Michelle or her lawyer fabricated it. We'll file an affidavit and demand a handwriting expert review.
A forgery. My own daughter tried to have me declared incompetent with a fake note. This is worse than I ever imagined.
It's desperate, but it's also criminal. When we prove it, her credibility will be destroyed. The judge will see she's the predator.
You are not alone, Edward. We've got the recording, the bank theft, and now proof of forgery. She's trapped herself.
James filed a motion to strike the doctor's note and set an expedited hearing. The forgery turned Michelle's weapon into a liability.
Edward, the court will hear both sides next week. With this evidence, I am confident we won't just protect your money. We'll expose her entirely.
The room felt lighter. Amy squeezed Edward's shoulder, and for the first time, he believed the tide was turning. 1 week later, Edward sat in a wheelchair at the plaintiff's table, James beside him. The courtroom smelled of old wood and tension.
Your Honor, we present a recording that captures the exact financial coercion this man has suffered from his own daughter.
James placed a small recorder on the table. Michelle's voice cut through the silence, sharp and unmistakable. I'll find a way around it. I always do.
That is the defendant demanding her father's bank PIN while threatening to abandon him. This is predation, not care.
Michelle's attorney shot to his feet, objecting that the recording was made without her knowledge and should be thrown out.
Nurse Amy had Edward's explicit permission. The recording is lawful and relevant. It exposes a pattern of financial abuse.
The judge examined the doctor's note, then glanced at Michelle's table with open skepticism. The forgery was already crumbling. After a long pause, the judge spoke. I find the competency claim questionable. I am ordering a full evidentiary hearing and freezing all accounts until then. The gavel struck. Michelle's face drained of color. Edward felt a guarded relief, but knew the real war was still ahead. A trial date was set. The recording was officially admitted into evidence. Edward's accounts were protected, but his daughter was far from finished. James returned the next day with a thicker folder. The expression on his face said the news was worse than before.
Edward, she opened 2 credit cards in your name and maxed them out $20,000. Also, a personal loan with a forged signature.
Forged my signature. She took out a loan. This isn't just theft. It's identity fraud. How much did she bleed from me?
$35,000 total, plus the earlier withdrawals. She's been methodical, but every fraudulent document is now evidence of her crimes.
The statements lay across Edward's lap like shards of his broken trust. Amy, standing by, pressed a hand to her mouth in disbelief.
I raised her, changed her diapers, paid for her college, and this is how she pays me back, with forged loans and stolen credit.
I'll notify the credit bureaus and file a police report. This turns our civil case into a criminal one. Edward, she could face jail time.
It's okay to grieve the daughter you thought you had, but you are doing the right thing. This evidence protects you.
I won't break. She took my money and my name, but I am still here, and I'll stand before that judge and tell the truth.
James gathered the fraud evidence, his briefcase now holding enough to bury Michelle's case. The final hearing was 3 weeks away. 2 weeks before the final hearing, James called Edward into the hospital conference room. This time, the conversation was about Edward's voice.
Edward, the judge needs to hear directly from you. Your voice, your pain. Documents alone aren't enough to show the betrayal.
I am not a performer. What if I break down on the stand? What if I can't even look at her?
You've faced her in this room again and again. The courtroom is just another room, and you won't be alone.
We'll practice. I'll play the other lawyer, ask the hard questions. You answer truthfully. The truth is on your side.
Maybe telling the truth is the only way to stop her. For good. All right, I'll do it. I'll testify. But I want her to look at me when the truth comes out.
Amy smiled, but her eyes glistened. She had watched him shrink under his daughter's shadow. Now she watched him straighten. They began right there. James lobbing sharp questions, Edward answering in a voice that grew steadier with every reply. By the time they finished, Edward's voice no longer cracked. He was ready to walk into that courtroom and reclaim his story. A week before trial, they gathered in a windowless deposition room. Michelle sat stiffly across from James, her lawyer whispering in her ear.
Miss Henderson, did you demand your father's bank PIN during a hospital visit 3 weeks ago?
I never demanded anything. I was only trying to help with his bills. He's confused from his fall.
Then you won't mind explaining why a recording of that visit captures you saying, "I am not leaving until you give me those numbers."
Michelle's composure flickered. She glanced at her lawyer, then back at James, her answer stalling.
He gave me permission weeks ago. I was just reminding him. This is all a misunderstanding.
And the credit cards and loan in his name, were those also a misunderstanding? We have the applications, and they show forgeries.
Michelle's hand shook as she reached for a glass of water. Her lawyer passed a note, but the damage was visible.
On the record, Miss Henderson, you forged a doctor's note, drained your father's account, and stole his identity. Is there anything you want to correct?
The silence that followed was answer enough. Edward watched his daughter crumble, feeling no triumph, only a hollow grief. The evening before trial, James sat with Edward one last time, walking him through every question the defense might throw at him.
They'll try to paint you as confused, paranoid. Stay calm. Tell the truth. The jury will see a father betrayed, not an old man slipping.
I keep thinking about my wife. She would have been horrified by what Michelle became. She'd want me to stand up now.
He reached for a worn photograph on the bedside table. His late wife, smiling, from a time before the fractures in his family.
I wish you were here, Margaret. You'd know what to say to our daughter.
You are not alone tomorrow. I'll be in the courtroom, and James will be right there. You just speak your truth.
He nodded, but sleep wouldn't come that night. Every time he closed his eyes, Michelle's cold threats echoed in the dark. At dawn, Amy brought him a cup of tea. The hospital hallway outside was still quiet, but Edward's pulse was already thrumming.
It's time. Cars waiting. Are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be. Let's finish this.
The final hearing began in a packed courtroom. Edward watched Michelle take her seat, her eyes fixed straight ahead as if he didn't exist. After James's opening statement, Edward was called to the stand. He raised his trembling hand and swore to tell the truth.
She leaned over my hospital bed and demanded my bank PIN. When I refused, she said she'd stop visiting and called me too weak to manage.
Across the aisle, Michelle's face tightened. She scribbled something on a legal pad, refusing to meet his gaze.
Then I discovered she'd been taking money from my account for weeks, thousands of dollars, all while I lay in that hospital bed.
The defense attorney stood, suggesting Edward's memory might be failing. But Edward answered every question with calm precision.
I am not confused. I know exactly what my daughter said to me, and I know what was stolen. That's not a memory problem. That's theft.
The courtroom went still. Michelle's lawyer glanced at her, and for the first time, uncertainty crept into her posture.
Your Honor, the prosecution calls Nurse Amy. She has direct knowledge of the defendant's behavior at the hospital.
Amy stood from the gallery, walked to the witness box, and placed her hand on the Bible. The recording that could end it all was about to be heard. James held up the phone with the recording ready. The courtroom fell so silent you could hear breathing. He pressed play. Michelle's voice sliced through the room. "I'll find a way around it. I always do." The recording went on, her threats echoing. Edward closed his eyes, his jaw tight against the pane.
I made that recording because Edward asked for help. He was terrified of what she might do. He gave me explicit permission. I never prompted her. She said those words on her own.
Michelle's lawyer shot up again, but the judge dismissed him with a sharp wave. The recording was too clear. The judge spoke. "This recording is damning. Financial coercion of a vulnerable adult is a serious offense. I revoke all access to Edward's accounts. A neutral guardian is appointed. You have no authority over him anymore." The gavel struck. Michelle slumped forward, her hands trembling. There was no escape now. Edward opened his eyes, a tear tracing his cheek. For the first time in weeks, he breathed freely. As the courtroom began to empty, James leaned down and shook Edward's hand. The grip was warm and sure.
It's over, Edward. The judge's order protects every account. She can't touch you anymore.
I don't know how to thank you, James. You gave me back my life when I thought it was over.
You did the hardest part yourself. Standing up to her took more courage than any legal argument.
Amy rushed over, her eyes wet. She hugged Edward without saying a word, and he felt the tension finally break.
Amy, you recorded my voice. You heard everything. I owe you more than I can say.
You just needed someone to listen. Everyone deserves that.
Maybe the worst is finally behind me. I can start over.
He was wheeled to the exit, the late afternoon sun falling across his face. The road ahead was uncertain, but for the first time, it was his own. His daughter no longer had any power over him. The weight that had pressed on his chest for weeks began to lift. 3 mornings later, Edward was discharged. Amy wheeled him to the hospital entrance, a small bag on his lap.
The assisted living facility knows your situation. No one gets near your room without permission. You are protected now.
You didn't just save my money, Amy. You saved me from a prison where my own daughter was the warden.
She squeezed his shoulder one last time. Then the aide pushed him through the sliding doors into the pale morning light. By noon, Edward arrived at Maple Ridge Assisted Living. Sunlight poured through the common room windows as residents played cards nearby.
A new room. No one demanding my PIN. Just quiet. I can finally breathe.
He was shown to a modest room overlooking a garden. An armchair sat by the window, a fresh blanket folded on the bed.
This will do. It's not the house I raised her in, but it's mine. No one can take this from me.
As afternoon faded, he sat by the window and watched sparrows flit between the branches. The world outside no longer felt threatening. The weight was gone. He wasn't just discharged from a hospital. He was freed from the person who had tried to undo him. 2 weeks into his quiet life, a letter arrived with no return address. The handwriting on the envelope was unmistakably Michelle's.
She found me. Part of me hoped she wouldn't.
He unfolded the paper, words of apology, desperate and pleading, asking for one meeting to explain herself.
She wants to meet. She says she's changed, but I've heard her lies before.
He read the lines twice, expecting anger. Instead, he felt a dull ache and a surprising, unshakable calm.
She thinks a few tears will erase what she did. Some doors can't be unpried.
He neatly folded the letter, crease by crease, as if tucking away the last remnant of a broken hope. He pulled open the nightstand drawer and placed it inside, under some old photographs. He didn't need to answer.
Maybe one day, but not today. I am not ready to let her back in, and I might never be.
He closed the drawer and sat back, the room quiet. He had finally chosen his own peace over her manipulation. After closing the drawer, he reached back inside and lifted out the framed photograph of Margaret. He brushed dust from the glass. Her smile hadn't changed, still bright after all those years.
She took my money, Margaret. Tried to take my name. I had to fight her in court. You would have been horrified. Our daughter turned into someone I don't recognize.
His voice cracked, and a tear traced the deep lines on his cheek. Then a slow breath and stillness.
I think I finally let go of the anger. She can't hurt me anymore, and I won't let her poison my memories of you. I stood up for myself. I think you'd be proud. This quiet room feels more like home than that house ever did.
He set the frame back on the nightstand, adjusting it so the photograph faced the window. The silence in the room felt different now, not empty, but filled with the quiet presence of a shared past. He had lost a daughter, but reclaimed his dignity. And in that small, sunlit room, he finally allowed himself to heal. Months passed, leaves turned and fell, and Edward found a quiet rhythm in his new home. One afternoon, a familiar face appeared in the garden. Nurse Amy, in casual clothes, smiled and waved.
You look different, Edward. Lighter. How are you settling in?
I am settled. I walk the garden every morning and play cards in the evening. It's peaceful.
They sat together on the wooden bench, sunlight filtering through the leaves, the air warm and still.
I still think about what you did. A stranger with a smartphone saved my life. I'll never stop being grateful.
You saved yourself, Edward. I just pressed record. But I am glad I did.
For a moment, they simply sat in comfortable silence, watching a robin hop across the lawn.
I never imagined I'd feel at home again. But here, with people who actually see me, I do.
The garden was quiet, the air warm. A stranger's courage had given an old man his life back, and that was enough.